After completing this program, participants will be able to define parasitology and its significance in human health. You can classify human parasites like protozoan parasites, human parasites like that, and you can explain the life cycle of parasites and transmission and post-parasitic interactions, and we can identify the parasitic adaptations. And it is my pleasure to invite our speaker, Dr. G. Sridhar Garu, Assistant Professor, Nizam College. Please come on the dais, sir. Sir completed PhD from Usmania University and also completed PDM from CCMB and published research papers in national and international journals. I thank each and everyone for attending this program. I will now hand over the session to our speaker to deliver lecture. Thank you.
Today I am going to deliver a lecture on human parasites and their interactions with the human body. Actually, my specialization is animal physiology, but you should ask me to prepare a general topic which is useful for both undergraduate students as well as postgraduate students. Then we came together and we discussed and we prepared one good lecture for useful for both students. In that today's topic is human parasites and their interaction with the human physiology as well as day-to-day challenges, because we are listening the leishmaniasis, we are listening the diarrhea, we are listening the different types of parasitic diseases from age old. But day-to-day, due to the adaptations in human being as well as in parasites, there is a lot of change, a lot of technology change as well as a lot of change in the parasites. That's why I have taken this topic. Okay. That means the challenges and a little bit we will discuss about the solutions of the particular challenges. Okay. Sir. Yes, you can see that human parasitic diseases, modern challenges and solutions. The next slide. Slide show. Before discussing about the human parasites, why a particular organism behave like a parasite? That is very important. And because generally in ecology, if you see general zoology, general ecology, if you see that we will find the animal associations. Animal associations. This parasitism comes under animal associations. Before going into that animal association, we will discuss about a little bit about the parasitism. You can see the first slide introduction. Among the evolutionary process, okay, that have been underway the countless millennia, perhaps the most interesting in the adaptation to the parasitic mode of life. Why particular organism develops life as a parasite or behave like a parasite? That is very important. Generally, different types of animal associations we will find in the next slide. But why particular organisms behave like parasite? Because it is an evolutionary process. Some organisms behave like a host, some organisms behave like vector, some organisms behave like parasites. Okay, I mean to say that parasitism, one of the modification in the evolutionary process of animal organisms. Okay, next slide. Next, you see that different types of animal associationships. In the last, I kept the parasitism. Okay, first you see that symbiosis. Symbiosis means both, because symbiotic means two organisms living together. Sometimes symbiosis may be beneficial, sometimes symbiosis may be harmful. But generally symbiosis means living together. Living together. Then mutualism. It is termed as symbiotic associationship that is beneficial to both partners. Both partners. For example, a symbiotic associationship, what is that? Benefiting the both organisms. Both organisms, that is called as mutualism. Mutualism means mutual, both two organisms plus and what is that, A and B will come together and beneficial together when because of that associationship or because of that symbiotic associationship. that is called as what is that mutualism. Then coming to the commensalism. Commensalism means in this type of you see that is the relationship between the two organisms where one of the associated organism benefited. Listen carefully. Next, the other neither be benefited or harmed. That means, for example, if you take A and B, A is benefiting with association with the B, but B is not benefiting as well as not harmed by the A or from the A. This is called as commensalism. That means only one organism will be benefited and the other organism will not be benefited or either benefited or harmed. Then coming to the last one, that is called as parasitism. Last one, that is called as parasitism. In the parasitism, the A organism will not be, will be take the nutrition, take everything, host, living everything. That means, and it will take the benefit as well as it will harm the second organism. Harm the second organism. This concept or this type of associationship in a particular habitat or in a particular animal associationship that is called as parasitism. You can see that is the relationship of two organisms where one of them, as you can call it as a parasite, who is taking benefits from the other organism, okay, lives in or on the other and expenses of the latter, which is called as the host. That means one organism looks like a parasite and one organism looks like a host. The parasite will take the nutrition. Parasite will take the host. That means it will live in that or on that particular host. This type of association we are calling as parasitism. Next thing. Okay. In the next slide, you can see that types of parasites. Now we know parasitism comes under animal associationship. In that animal associationship, different types of parasitisms we will find. There are basically two types of parasitism. Very simple. Two types of parasitism: endoparasitism and ectoparasitism. The name itself is explaining you. Endo means inside. Parasitism already you know. One fellow will be benefited and other fellow will work as a host. Okay, it will provide everything: living room, nutrition, reproduction place, everything it will provide. That's why we are calling that is as a host. Okay. Parasitism is two types, that is called as endoparasitism and ectoparasitism. Endoparasitism means if a parasite is living inside the body, that is called as endoparasitism. For example, take intestinal parasites, gut parasites, genital parasites. There are different types of places which they can live. Cutaneous parasites, below the skin. This type of parasites, you can write it as an example for endoparasites. Then come to ectoparasites. Ectoparasites, they will live upon the skin or upon the surface of the body, that is called as ectoparasites. For example, the best example for the ectoparasites are the arthropod parasites, bugs, bed bug will come, ectoparasite. They will come and they will suck the blood and they will go. This is called as ectoparasitism. Next. Yes, based upon the time spending with the host by the parasite, then I have divided into different parts, but in that two are very important. What is that? Types of parasites: obligatory parasites and facultative parasites. Okay? That means some guest will come and he will go. Some guest will come and he will never go. Like that, we will divide the guest. But the parasites also. You see that obligatory parasite, which is completely dependent. I have given, enlarged the color. Completely dependent on the host. That means if host is not there, the parasite will not survive. That is called as obligatory parasite. If it will come, it will not go. It will be recycled sometime, but it will not go. That is called as obligatory parasites. Then come to the next type of parasite, that is called as facultative parasites or facultative parasitism. That means it is temporary. That means if host is not available, the survivability of the parasite will not be changed. That type of parasitism is called, that is temporary relationship between the host and parasite. That is called as facultative parasitism. There are different types of parasitisms are there. What is that? Temporary, accidental parasite, temporary parasite. Next slide. Then permanent parasites, opportunistic parasites, zoonotic parasites, especially nowadays zoonotic diseases are very famous. Corona, after coming Corona, what is that zoonotic parasitism or zoonotic viral zoonotic diseases are very famous. That means if a parasite is hosting like an animal, that is called as the zoonotic parasitism. Then erratic parasitism and host-specific parasitism. Especially some parasites, they will, what is that, take host as specific organisms. That is called as host-specific parasitisms. Okay. Next. You can see that. Now we are discussing that, coming to our main topic. Yes, while we are discussing about the endoparasitism, we are discussing the parasitism is two types, ectoparasitism and endoparasitism. First we discuss about the endoparasitism. Endoparasitism means, already we are discussing that, endoparasitism means if a parasite present in the inside the body, that may be any area of your body, sometimes your salivary glands, sometimes your gut area, sometimes your small intestine, large intestine, genital tracts, anywhere. Okay. These endoparasites mainly classified into two types. What is that? Protozoan parasites as well as what is that? Helminth parasites. In the next slide, you will also find that some arthropod parasites. Generally, arthropod parasites will comes under what is that? Ectoparasitism. That's why I didn't keep it here. But in the slide I kept that, but I kept when I'm explaining the description of the endoparasitism, I didn't kept. You see that protozoan parasites, generally protozoans are acellular, or you can also call it as unicellular organisms. Single cellular organisms. Then helminth parasites are multicellular organisms, like tapeworms, flukes, and all these things. Okay, helminth parasites once again classified into nematodes, cestodes, and trematodes. Okay, we'll discuss elaborately while we're discussing about the helminth parasites. Next slide. Yes, classification of hosts. Now we are discussing about the parasites. But why we are not discussing about the host? Because who is very important, he is providing everything to the parasites. You can see here definitive parasites, intermediate, host, then you can call it as primary host, then secondary host, then additional host sometimes. Okay, then we'll also discuss about the vectors also, because especially malaria. Okay, vector-borne disease, very famous disease. Definitive parasites means, sir, why and on what basis you are classifying the what is that host? Yes, you can classify the parasite based upon the area where it is living, but on what basis you are classifying the host? Generally, primary, what is that host means? If a parasite, what is that living primarily or mainly in a particular host, that is called as primary host or definitive host. Sir, it is the only one definition to the primary host. There is one more definition. If a parasite, what is that? Doing the sexual reproduction in a host, that host we can call it as a primary host. But there is some exceptions, especially in malaria. We will find the human being that asexual reproduction, Plasmodium vivax. That's why there are some exceptions are there. But generally, all the parasites or all the endoparasites show the what is that sexual reproduction in the primary host, asexual reproduction in the secondary host. Okay, on that basis we have classified. There are some reservoirs, there are some what is that vectors we can find in course of time. Next slide. Next slide. The same thing I explained here. Okay, yes. What will be happen because of the parasitism, especially in the human beings? This slide is totally belongs to the human being, because we will find the what is that parasites mainly in the animals. But the slide what I kept, this is only for what is that for human beings. Tissue damages. What will be happen to the parasite? If a parasite present in our body, what will be happen? Yes, we will find the diseases. Why we will find the diseases? Because of the damages, because of the tissue damage. When tissue is damaging, the functions or the metabolic reactions will be disturbed in our body. Then everything will be what is that pathetic condition that leads to the different types of diseases. Yes, what type of tissue damages you will find? Yes, parenchyma or albuminous degradation. What is the meaning of parenchyma? Parenchyma means if you take a tissue, the tissue is covered by some cells. That is called as parenchyma. I think you might have read many histology of the many what is the tissues. The first area, sclera. After sclera, that means a tough tissue layer you will find. Below the tough layer, we will find the sclera. Sorry, parenchyma. Okay, if you are degrading the parenchyma, that is also one tissue. Now that is called as parenchymal, what is the degradation? Then fat degradation. Every organ is covered with some fat cells, we can call it as fat. When parasite infected, the fat degradation will be more. When fat degradation will be more, the fat cells will be, what is that, more in our body. That is called as fat degradation. Then necrosis is very important. Especially, what is the trypanosoma gambiense, your leishmaniasis, your malaria, will leads to the necrosis. What is the meaning of necrosis? There are two types of cell death you will find in the tissues. There are two types of cell death you will find in the, what is that, in our parasitism. What is the necrosis and what is that, apoptosis. If a cell is dying due to the different types of, what is that, toxic or different types of parasitic infection, that is called as necrosis. You see, you can see that what is the persistent cell degradation. Persistent cell degradation. But there is one more type of cell degradation that is called as apoptosis. When a cell is completed its age, then cell has to degrade. That is called as general process. But this is not, necrosis is not a general process. This is maybe due to the toxics, which you will take as a drugs and all these things. Due to mainly parasites. Next slide. Then you can see there. Yeah. Tissue damages or tissue changes. Now we found the tissue damage. Then after that, changes in the tissue. There are three types main changes in the tissue. What is that? Hyperplasia, hypertropia. What is the meaning of hyperplasia? You see that there. Elevation of the metabolic rates of the cells. That is called as hyperplasia. That means when a parasite enters into the cell, there are different types of protective mechanisms in the cell. Then the cell wants itself from the foreign body or foreign organism. Then it will increase the metabolic rate. That metabolic rate increase also leads to the different types of what is the tissue damages and tissue changes in the body, that is called as hyperplasia. Then you can see that hypertrophy. Very simple definition. You can see that increase in the cell size. Increase in the cell size. So why there is an increase in the cell size? Especially when a parasite or in a foreign particle or foreign organism enters into your tissue, then what will be happen? Inflammation will be occur due to the immune response. Giving the signal to the immune system, I am infected by some foreign particle, you have to react, otherwise it will kill me. That is the reason you will find in the increase in the cell size. That is called as hypertrophy. Next slide. Then metaplasia. One type of tissue may be converted into other type of tissue. Sir, how come it is possible? Okay, change in the size, change in the, what is that, structure, that is good. But you see here, change in the morphology of the tissue. Basically, what will happen? When a parasite enters into the cell will be encapsulated with some other organism, especially macrophages will be encapsulated. Then collagenous tissue will be encapsulated, connective tissue will be encapsulated the cell. That means the morphology and the structure will be changed. That is called as metaplasia. Then neoplasia, abnormal cell growth. Abnormal cell growth. This is called as, what is the different types of tissue changes and tissue damages which you will find due to the human body due to the parasitism. Then how you will diagnose the parasites which we are finding in our body? In olden days, the excellent technique that is called as microscopic technique. Microscopic. They what they going to say when you are finding what is that in your body, you are finding some disease. Then the medical practitioner or doctor will ask you go for blood test. Especially if you are having any Bucariania bankruptcy effect, he will ask you that come in the morning, early morning, 4 o'clock. That means in the early morning, 4 o'clock, the parasite will come into the peripheral blood. Then in the blood, you will find the different type of infective stages of the particular parasite in the blood. Microscopic examination. In olden days, everyone, nowadays also, microscopic examination. Or tissue examination by histology. These are the main techniques in the olden days. But nowadays, we are developing the different types of biochemical estimations, immunological estimations. When corona came, what we have done? We take one antibody kit or antigen kit, then we have taken a drop of blood, then within second we found that positive or negative. That means technology is changing. When technology is changing, in olden days, if you are infected with the malaria, they used to take the blood in the morning, or after 3 days, they used to tell that after culturing that, then you are infected with the malaria, or you are not infected with the malaria. Nowadays, a kit came, LDH engine estimation by malaria, to confirm the malaria estimate, what is that infection. That means when technology is changing, diagnostic test also changing. But I have given a general concept that is the direct microscopy, just now we have discussed. Imaging techniques, endoscopy, especially small intestinal or gut parasites, if it is present in our body, then they use to do the endoscopy. Okay. Then stool, then urine change, then CSF means cerebrospinal fluid checking. Okay, next. Then epidemiology. There are some words which we will discuss in the next slides. Epidemiology, incidence, all this. What is the meaning of epidemiology? You can see that what is the factors that determine the prevalence of infection and the incidence of diseases. Nowadays, if you go to the WHO site, World Health Organization site, every disease you will find updated information. We will think that malaria is a very old disease. We will think that what is the leishmaniasis, amoebiasis is very old disease. But if you go to the WHO site, he will give in this month how many, what is that leishmaniasis patients comes in your total all over the world. Okay, that is called as epidemiology. Then what is the meaning of endemic? If a parasitic disease, okay, present only a particular population or a particular area of the population, that is called as endemic disease or endemic, what is that word like that. Then coming to the prevalence, representing the number of infected individuals of a particular time or in a particular time. That is called as prevalence. That means prevalence means, for example, when Corona came, what we saw that in this day in China or in Europe, this many Corona patients came. Or after coming to Bombay, in Bombay, this many patients died and this many patients are infected. This is called as the prevalence. Then coming to the last one, that is called as incidence. I am coming from up to down. First epidemiology, then what is that prevalence? The prevalence representing the number of infected individuals, incidence rate of frequency of the disease. This is called as incidence. Next. Then coming to the actual topic. Okay. Human parasitology. As we have discussed that human parasitology, I have divided into 3 types. What is that? Medical protozoology. What is that? Then medical helminthology and medical arthropodology. Not anthropodology, arthropodology. In medical protozoology, what is that? Mainly protozoan parasites we will discuss. There are different types of protozoan parasites we will find. Like what is that? Sarcomastigophora, Epicomplexia, then Microsporidia and Celiophora. Okay, maximum I took 1 or 2 examples for each class or subclass of what is that parasites. Then coming to the helminthology, the helminth parasites which we are finding in the human body, that is called as medical helminthology. In that, nematoda, trematoda, and cestoda. Okay, then we will discuss that one. Then medical arthropodology, mainly insects we will discuss here, but they will come under what is that ectoparasitism. This is the actual slide, the gist of the slide of the human parasitology. Next. Yes, you see that the burden of some major parasitic infections. Your sir said that Anna, we will not discuss only that what is that classical parasitology. We will discuss something latest technology, latest things. This is the burden of some major parasitic infections. Major parasitic infections. You see that Plasmodium, which will cause the malaria. 273 million people. This is 2025, January 21st data. I took from the WHO site. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. 273 million people are infected with this malaria parasite, dying 1.12 million. Because nowadays technology is changed. That's why maximum 98% we are, what is that surviving, surviving the people. Or what is that, the disease is cured by the different types of, what is that diagnostic, what is that drugs. Then coming to the helminth parasites, roundworm, ascaris, what is that, tripudius, ankylostoma, schistosoma, filaria, trypanosoma, African trypanosomiasis, leishmaniasis. You can see there, 2 billion people. Out of the 2 lakhs are dying because of the helminthic parasites. Then schistosoma, liver fluke, you can 200 million, 1500 or 15,000 members are dying. Okay. Then trypanosoma, 14,000. African trypanosomiasis. Nowadays we are in 21st century. We are thinking that everything is developed, technology is developed. But due to the simple protozoan parasites as well as helminth parasites, many millions of individuals are going to death, are leading to the fatal conditions. That is the importance of human parasitology. Okay. Next. The importance of why they are very important. You can see here malaria, schistosomiasis, filariasis, leishmaniasis, trypanosomiasis, and leprosy. The first five is parasitic diseases except leprosy. Okay, that's why WHO considering the first five diseases are very, very, what is that, fatal diseases which is causing the death all over the world. Because, okay, especially developing countries as well as undeveloped countries like African countries, what is that, they're dying like anything. Millions of people are dying, or thousands of people are dying because of this protozoan as well as helminthic parasites. Next. Why were they are selected? Why only these diseases are selecting? You see that schistosomiasis, infected and deaths, malaria, infected and deaths, filariasis, trypanosomiasis, leishmaniasis. They are simple unicellular organisms. Take malaria, Plasmodium vivax, a simple protozoan unicellular organism. Because of this malaria, more or less 25 lakhs individuals are dying, are going to the fatal conditions all over the world. Next slide. Let's come to the protozoan parasites. We saw what is the different types of parasites, both what is that your protozoa as well as living. Then protozoa. In protozoan parasites, this is a classification. I hope you know this classification: Sarcodyna, Flagellata, Sporozoa, and Infusoria. In Sarcodyna, we discuss about the amoebiasis. The best example is amoeba, which is having the what is that lobe-like locomotory organs. Then Flagellata, Leishmania, Trypanosoma, Giardia, and Trichomonias. Then Sporozoa, very important. What is that? Plasmodium parasite. Then Infusoria, Belantidium coli, which will present in the what is that large intestine. These are the different types of classes and different types of parasites with respect to the particular class. Yeah, yes, this one. The first disease which we will discuss the basic disease, amoebiasis, where you will find the vomiting and diarrhea. In India, 0 to 5 years before 2002, due to the amoebiasis, 40% of what is that kids are dying before the 5 years because of this simple diarrhea and what is that is amoebiasis. Because that fellow don't know that where what is there here. He will touch here and he will keep the hands or fingers in the mouth. Amoebiasis. Sometimes amoebiasis, if you take a small drug, it will cure now. Sporlac powder, it will cure. But sometimes, due to the water loss, continuous water loss, to your vomiting as well as motion, then it is leading to the death, what is that, below the 5 years. That's why amoebiasis is a very, very fatal disease in kids as well as other individuals. You see that amoebiasis is mainly caused by, what is that, or you can also call it amoebic dysentery, amoebic hepatitis, okay? What is the main causative factor for this amoebiasis? The main causative factor for amoebiasis is Enterobius histolytica. Histo means what is that tissue? Lytica means what is that damaging or cleaving. That's why this is called as Enterobius histolytica. Major causative factor for amoebic dysentery. You see that the total world, I have taken the continent, different types of continents. In the different types of continents, more or less in Asian area, 4.20% amoebiasis we are finding. Yellow color. We are danger in Europe after Africa. After Africa, highest in Asia. China, high technology, Japan, high technology, India, high technology. But we are finding 4.13% amoebic dysentery. Next. Yes, we will next. This is the morphology of the, what is that, Enterobius histolytica. In Enterobius histolytica, we will find two types of stages: propozyte stage and cyst stage. Propozyte stage is no problem. Cyst stage is very dangerous. Dangerous means I mean to say infective stage. You see that propozyte. This is the what is that morphology or structure of the propozyte. It is an amoeboid form. It is an amoeboid form. Then it is having a chromatid. You see that the pink color I showed here, pink color. Single nucleus, small central karyosome. The fine granular endoplasm may be contained ingested due to the erythrocytes. Next slide. Then cyst. This is the main infective stage. Okay, you see that 4 nucleus. In trophozoite cell we found only 1 nucleus, but in cyst stage we are finding the 4 nucleus. This is called tetrad stage. Tetra means 4. Tetrad stage. Spherical in structure. That is amoeboid in structure. This is spherical in structure. That is the original diagram. I am keeping 2 diagrams. This is a book diagram. That is original. Under microscope you will find that type of diagram. Okay. Spherical in structure. What is that? Refractory. What is that? Bodies 1 to 4. What is that? Nuclei. In trophozoite stage we found only 1 nuclei, but in cyst stage we are finding the 4 nuclei. Every parasite we will discuss like the first structure, then we will discuss about the life cycle. Okay, next. Life cycle. Generally, I said that 2 forms of what is that? Entamoeba histolytica we will find. What is that? First form, cyst form. The next form is a trophozoite stage. Infection occurs by ingestion of cyst. Okay, and fecally contaminated food. Fecally of different types of animals as well as different types of human beings. Okay, and fecally contaminated food. If you have ingested due to the different types of reasons. Okay, especially if you go to that different types of slum area, we don't know what type of contamination we will find to the food. Okay, passes into the small intestine. If you ingested what is the fecally contaminated food? Intestine. Okay, then the cyst is having a cover. Due to the intestinal enzymes, the outer cover will be what is ruptured. This is called as a decyst. That means the cyst form will come out. This is called as a decyst. Okay, the decyst this divides by metacyst. Then it will at the 4 nucleated stage comes into the 8 nucleated stage. Then in the large intestine. Okay, majority of the organisms are passed to the body with the fecal material only. Then after dividing by mitotic divisions or by simple binary fusion, it will change the structures, and that structure we are calling as a trophozoite structure. That trophozoite structure will enter into the what is that fecal matter. The fecal matter, through the fecal matter it will come out. Okay, then there are some different types of reservoir host, secondary host you will find. Then especially what is that fecal matter house flies, intermediary host. Housefly will go and fly on the what is that fecal matter. The same housefly will come into our home and what is that fly on our food. Then they will be what is that circulate fecal matter to the food to the what is that our small intestine. This is how the parasitic stages will be what is that circulate. Next, this is the diagram of the life cycle of the Entamoeba histolytica. You see that, as I said, that mature cyst, which is having the 4 nuclei, you can see that there. Then that will enter into your gut to the small intestine. After entering into the small intestine, it will reach to the lung, it will reach to the liver, it will reach to the large intestine. Okay, if it is reaching to the large intestine, it will come out to the fecal matter. But what about the state of the parasite which is present in the lungs, parasite which is present in the liver? They will damage the liver tissue, they will damage the lung tissue, and cause different types of immunological diseases. Not only amoebiasis. That's why we are finding the what is that fever and all these things. Then to the fecal matter it will come out. After coming out, it will convert as a trophozoite. Then trophozoite stage once again converting into the cyst. Once again the cyst will enter into our body. This is the life cycle of what is that Entamoeba histolytica. Next slide. Yes, what is the symptoms mainly? So we are discussing about the cyst and trophozoite. What is the symptoms? Symptoms, you see that frequent dysentery with what is that necrotic mucosa and abdominal pain. When dysentery is there, dysentery means just like what is that water loss from your body. Then you will find the lower abdominal pain. Lower abdominal pain, especially when you are eating the non-veg, 3 days or 4 days non-veg, we will find this amoebic dysentery. We won't eat the vegetable food. we will eat the tomorrow morning if we eat the vegetable, no, we will eat that. If, what is that? If non-veg is there, we will eat it. Then we will find this type of dysentery diseases. Okay. Then you see that chronic, acute is no problem for us, but chronic is very dangerous. Okay. Recurrent episodes of dysentery with blood and mucosa in the fecal material. Okay. Then there are investigating the gastrointestinal disturbances, constipation, cysts are found in the stool. These are the different types of symptoms we will find in the what is the Entamoeba histolytica infection. Next. Then what is the diagnosis and treatment? As I said that the diagnosis, first diagnosis, what is the microscopic diagnosis? Then stool diagnosis. If in our stool, if we are finding the cyst, then we can say that we are infected with the what is the Entamoeba. Then what are the treatment? There is a drug that is called as iodoquinol. The best drug for the amoebiasis. Iodoquinol, metronidazole, especially what is that loose motions will take the metronidazole. These are the drugs which you can use for the amoebic dysentery. Okay, next. Then there is one more parasite that is called as giardiasis. Giardiasis. Okay, father of large intestinal diseases, you can say that. Giardia. Father of large intestine parasites. It will also cause the dysentery. It will also cause the dysentery. That is the diagram for the trophozoite stage and the tricyst stage of the giardia. Okay, next. Leishmaniasis. There is one more parasitic disease or protozoan parasite which is causing the leishmaniasis. Leishmania, that is called as leishmaniasis. Leishmania tropica, Leishmania donovani. There are two important what is that Leishmania species which you will find in our body. Okay. Introduction of the Leishmaniasis. Leishmania is a parasitic disease caused by the Leishmania. It was identified the Leishman, that's why the name came as Leishmaniasis. Then it occurs Mediterranean region, Africa, Central and South America. Next. Okay. Leishmaniasis mainly three types. Cutaneous, that means that is related to skin. What is that? Mucocutaneous, that is it remains between the skin and the below the skin. Then visceral. Visceral means around the tissue or inside the body. The life cycle of the what is that? This Leishmania. You show that slide. That is very important. Yeah. This one. This is the life cycle. Here we are finding one vector. For malaria, we are finding vector as mosquito. Here also we are finding one vector that is called as sandfly. Sandfly. If you are having a sandfly bite, the sandfly is infected with the what is that? This Leishmania. A stage that is called as a pro-masticate stage. If it is present in the salivary glands of this sandfly, then when the blood is sucked by this sandfly, in that passage, this pro-masticate stage of the Leishmania enters into your bloodstream. After entering into your bloodstream, you see that the pro-masticate is having just like a flagella. It is a movable stage. After entering into our body, it will lose its flagella and spindle-shaped pro-masticate is converted as masticate stage. That is like what is that? Which is absence of masticate. The pro-masticate transform into amasticate. A means absence of mastigophora. Absence of mastigophora. Then it is circular in structure. After circular in structure, you will find the what is that binary fusion. Then number of the what is that? This number will be increased. Then the fourth stage, the amasticate multiply in cells in the various tissues like liver, kidney, and what is that? Your bloodstream, visceral area, and under the skin. Then it will enter into the cutaneous area or it enters into the bloodstream. When sandfly, what is that? Have a bite, then it will enter into the sandfly through your blood. That means at amasticate stage, it is entering into the sandfly. At pro-masticate stage, it is entering into the human being. These infectious stages are very important for the what is the different types of competitive exams. Then you see that sandfly takes the blood meal, ingested macrophages infected with the amasticate. Then ingestion of the what is that parasitized cell. Then amasticate transform into the primasticate once again. That means the circular structure is develop the what is that mastigophora. Then converts into what is that pro-masticate. Now once again the pro-masticate through the salivary glands it enters into the human being. This is how Leishmania, what is that? Leishmania will transform from sandfly to human being to the sandfly. Here vector is, what is that sandfly? Primary host is human being. Okay, next. Okay, the primary drug for this disease, sodium. The primary drug for this disease is called as sodium gluconate. Okay, then cutaneous, what is that, lesions can also be treated by, what is that, different types of fluconazole and metronidazole. Then mucocutaneous disease mainly treated by a drug that is called as amphotericin B. These are the drugs which you can use, different types of cutaneous, visceral as well as mucocutaneous leishmaniasis. Next. Yeah. Next, the important disease that is called as malaria. Just now we discussed more or less 2 to 3 billions of people are dying all over the world due to the malaria disease. Okay, malaria disease is mainly caused by a protozoan parasite that is called as Plasmodium vivax. That is not the only one protozoan parasite which is causing the malaria. There are 4 types of malarial parasite that is called as Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale. These are the 4 types of Plasmodium species which is causing the malaria disease in the human being. Generally, Plasmodium vivax will common malarial parasite, protozoan parasite, that is Plasmodium vivax. Yes, you will find the fever, you will find the chilling, but death will not be very, very less. But very, very fatal, very dangerous Plasmodium. What is that? The Plasmodium subtype that is called as Plasmodium falciparum. Deaths. A single unicellular organism is causing the death due to this disease. Plasmodium falciparum is very fatal. Then Plasmodium malariae are very uncommon. Chala rare, very rare species. Then Plasmodium ovale. By God's grace, in India, Plasmodium ovale is not there. Mainly very, very endemic, especially Philippines area, Thailand area, we will find the ovale, but it is not that much of fatal in condition. Out of these 4, Plasmodium falciparum is highly fatal or highly dangerous, which is causing the death. Plasmodium vivax is very common. Then you can see the life cycle of the Plasmodium. Yes, when we have a bite, what is that of a mosquito? Mainly the causative mosquito or the vector which is transforming the Plasmodium from human being to the human being, that is called as female Anopheles. Female Anopheles. Male will not bite. Okay. The female Anopheles, if you are having, generally infected, what is that? This female Anopheles, mainly the salivary glands. There is a stage that is called as a sporozoite stage. Sporozoite stage. It will enter into our bloodstream. After entering into our bloodstream, directly it will not enter into our bloodstream. It will enter into the, what is that, liver cells first. Liver cells first. Then it will do its life cycle. After completing some part of the life cycle in the liver cell or hepatic cell, it will enter into our erythrocytes or RBC. That part is called as erythrocytic cycle. Okay. After entering into the erythrocytic cycle, it will form the gametes. That gametic stage enters into the mosquito once again. That means there are 3 cycles in one cycle. That means before erythrocytic cycle or RBC cycle, that is called as pre-erythrocytic cycle. Pre-erythrocytic cycle, that means outside the RBC. But where you will find this pre-erythrocytic cycle? Pre-erythrocytic cycle mainly you will find in the hepatic cells or liver cells. Then after completing the cycle in the liver cell, it will enter into a, what is that, merozoite stage. That merozoite stage will enter into your RBC cell. After entering into the RBC cell, the size of the Plasmodium will be increased. The size of the, what is that, merozoite will increase, that is called as a tropozoite. Then it will burst. After bursting, there is a toxic material which is released, that is called as hemogyne. That is called as, what it will do in RBC, what it will do, it will take the hemoglobin. Mainly, what is the content you will find? Iron, hemoglobin. It will take the hemoglobin. That's why it is causing the anemia to the human being. Anemia to the human being. then that stage is called as erythrocytic stage. After completing the erythrocytic stage, at gametic stage, it will enter into the, what is that, micromerozoites and macromerozoites enters into the, what is that, your mosquito, then sexual reproduction, then zygote will form. The zygote will convert as oocyst. Oocyst will convert as ookinete. Ookinete is converted as sporozoite. Then the sporozoite will once again in the human being. You can see there, zygote, zygote to oocyst, oocyst to sporozoite, sporozoite entering into the human being. First that bigonal, polygonal structure, that is liver cell, exo or pre-erythrocytic cycle in hepatic cells. Then after completing the, what is that erythrocytic cell, it is entering into the erythrocytes or RBC. In RBC, you can see the size of the plasmodium, the tropozoite. This is called as singlet ring stage. Singlet ring stage. Then it is releasing different types of chemical material. That is, the chemical material is called as, what is that, hemogyne. Due to this hemogyne, we are finding the chillings. Chillings are shivering in our body as well as fever in our body. Okay. Then it will enter into the gametocytes. This gametocyte enters into the mosquito. Once again, the cycle will recycle. This is the life cycle of the Plasmodium vivax in the human being. Next. Next, the same thing I explained. Yeah, there is a different diagram I found in the WHO site. A different diagram. Generally, in books we found this diagram, but in the different diagram I found. The first half is what is found in the mosquito as a vector. The second half, that is called as a human host. Okay. Sporogenic cycle, infective period, mosquito bites are uninfected person. When mosquito bite uninfected person, they will enter into the, what is that, in the liver cell. After entering into the liver cell, you will find into the, it will enter into the RBC. After RBC, then illness, clinical illness. Okay, this diagram I took from the WHO site. Next. Exoerythrocytic stage or pre-erythrocytic stage. Generally, the sporozoite stage is an infective stage of Plasmodium or malaria parasite to the human being. That is very important. After entering into there, it will enter into the, after 2 or 3 hours, it enters to the liver cell. After entering into the liver cell, the sporozoite is converted as a merozoite, cryptomerozoite. By just a simple binary fusion, they will take the hepatic, what is that, tissue, and they will eat and they will grow in number. Cryptomerozoites. Metacryptomerozoites. This metacryptomerozoites, after 2 or 3 weeks, it will enter into the, what is that, RBC cell. Next. You see, next. Next. Yeah. Erythrocytic stage. In the erythrocytic stage means the cycle, or you will find of a Plasmodium vivax, which you are finding in the, what is that, RBC, that is called as erythrocytic stage. In RBC, mainly, it will eat the hemoglobin, or it will take the hemoglobin, destruction of the RBC, then it will increase in size. Generally, merozoites are very small. After entering into the RBC, the size will increase. That is called as a propozoite. That is called as propozoite. Then these propozoites are divided into 2 parts. That is called as, that is, you can call it as a Scheidt stage. Okay. At this stage, you will find the gametes, microgametes and macrogametes. Generally, microgametes are male gametes. Macrogametes are, what is that, female gametes. Okay. Then when they are bursting the RBC cell, then it looks like a flower stage. Flower, that's why this is called as the Scheidt. Or the bursting stage, you can call it as, what is the schizogony. Schizogony. When schizogony occurs in the RBC, what you will find? You will find the, what is that, hemogyne chemical toxic material, which is toxic to the human body, and we will find the chillings in our body, as well as we will find the, what is that, high fever, what is 100 to 102. What is that, Fahrenheit? Next. Next. Yeah. What are the symptoms for this malaria? What are the symptoms of this malaria? You see that headache, okay? Malaria, that means, what is that, uneasiness, fatigue, nausea, muscular pains, okay? Slight diarrhea, slight fever, usually not intermittent. Then could mistake for influenza or gastrointestinal infection. Generally, when one fever comes, then what will be some parasitic disease will think that, or some influenza. For what is that? Nausea came. That's why I got the fever. Okay, but if it is the temperature is increasing, and if it is what is that after 48 hours or in the night time, then you have to suspect. Then go for the malaria test. Okay, next. Next. Yeah, you see this slide. Present challenges, you see, this slide I took from the World Health Organization. This slide I took from the World Health Organization. The green color area is malaria-free zone. The green color area, what you are finding? Malaria-free zone. White color area, not free zone. Our India is in the white color. But below you can see Sri Lanka, no malaria, green color. Maximum Asian countries and African countries. What is that having the highest, what is that prevalence of this malaria disease? The white color area, what you are finding in the diagram, that is related to malaria zone. Green zone, what you are finding? A light green zone, what you are finding? Malaria free zone. Okay, next. Then I get one more diagram that is related to our India. The red color area you can see there, especially Orissa, Jharkhand, that area. Bihar, highest area. Yellow color, our Telangana and Andhra Pradesh comes under yellow color area. Moderate area, no problem. We are finding that, but deaths are very less. Okay, next. Yes, as our title, challenges and solutions of combating the malaria or parasitic diseases. What are the challenges what we are finding? Drug resistance. Yes, parasitics are, for example, we are having, if a teacher is scolding every day, then tomorrow morning you want that fellow will scold like that. That means you will adapt. Same thing. Parasites, every organism having their own adaptation mechanism. Okay. That means if any disease came or if any what is that infection came for a particular parasite, especially malaria, we will take some drug, quinone. We'll take some quinone-based drugs. Then slowly what happened? That parasite has developed what is that resistance against a particular drug. Resistance against a particular drug. Drug resistance is a big challenge for these parasitic diseases. The next one that is called as insecticidal resistance. Limited access to healthcare, especially in India also, especially take Telangana, take Andhra Pradesh. If you go to the Srikakulam district, if you go to the Etur Nagaram forest area, very, very less healthcare, what is that, professionals will be there. If you get a fever, he will give the paracetamol, but he won't diagnose the what type of fever. If it is what is that viral fever, it is parasitic fever, bacterial fever. That is not, that means limited access to healthcare in 2025 also. Every year, different types of vector-borne diseases we are finding. Okay, next one. Climate change and environmental factors. When climate is changing, especially in the when winter to summer, many mosquitoes you will find. Many mosquitoes you will find. That is the main factor, sir. Okay, rising temperatures, change in the rainfall patterns, okay, increasing mosquito breeding grounds, expanding the malaria transmission areas. That means environmental factors also is very important. Okay, then we see that lack of effective vaccines. There is a vaccine for what is that malaria? It is not very famous in the market. R is something, RSS will be there. Okay, very less. There RTS vaccine. Okay, and S have developed, but they are not that much of efficient to cure the what is that malaria disease. Then poor sanitation and socio-economic barriers. Okay, for example, if you go to slum, very less area and the population density will be more. When population density is more, poor sanitation. Okay, that is leading. They are the main challenges to cause these different types of parasitic diseases. Next. These are the solutions. What is developing the new treatments, innovative vector control strategies, improving the health care, then climate adaptations, scaling what is that vaccination efforts, public health awareness education, what is the securing the sustainable funding and partnerships, especially from WHO, CDC. They are giving UNESCO. They are giving so much of funding to cure the different types of endemic diseases, endemic parasitic diseases, especially in tribal areas and all these areas. Okay, these are the solutions for the challenges what we discussed. Next. We won't discuss thing, okay? Trypanosoma gambiense, which will cause the sleeping sickness. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the students, if you have any doubts, you can ask and discuss with the speaker.
If you have any doubt, you can ask.
So Zoom participants also, you can ask your doubts through Zoom chat box. Okay, thank you, sir. Students, after this program also, speaker available here, you can discuss your doubts personally also. Thank you, sir. Now I
Thank you so much.
invite Dr. Sanita Kumar madam to express what are your.
Good afternoon, one and all. On behalf of the Faculty of Science and Department of Zoology, it is an honor and privilege to express my deep sense of gratitude and thank our today's speaker, Dr. G. Sridhar, for an enlightening session on human parasitic diseases, modern challenges, as well as solutions. Sir, the session was highly informative, thought-provoking, inspiring, and moreover, it was educative. The lecture highlighted us the various animal associations, types of parasites, host parasitic interactions, the various parasitic diseases with its impact on global health, and also the emergence of drug resistance and the advancements in diagnostic techniques, vaccines, and various treatment strategies. The lecture, in fact, has broadened our understanding and provided us with deep insights into the complexities of different parasitic diseases, the challenges that are faced in controlling them, and also the innovative solutions that today's modern science is offering. It has really been a valuable learning experience for all of us today. In this regard, I once again thank you, sir, for spending your valuable time and sharing your wisdom. I would also like to express my gratitude and thanks to our Dean and Director, Academic Professor Pushpa Chakrapani Madam, for her motivation, encouragement, and support in conducting today's guest lecture. Thank you, Madam. I would also like to thank both the teaching as well as the non-teaching staff and my dear students. Special thanks to the computer department for the technical support. I once again thank one and all for their enthusiastic participation and making today's lecture a more memorable one. Thank you.
Thank you, students.